Okay, so thank you very much for that. Thank you to the organizers and Holger and everybody else who's put a huge amount of effort into making us extremely comfortable here and feeding us. You know, you've done the work, so it's been great. Also, thank you to the translators, because I know that that's a lot of hard work too. So I'll start off. Thank you also, by the way, to Johan, because he set me up beautifully for this presentation of Dynacure. I'll start off with familiar faces. So you, I'm sure you know the people on this slide. I want to let you know that the pictures are in our office in Strasbourg. So when we go to work in our offices, we are constantly reminded of our motivation to get to work and to do what we need to do quickly and efficiently. So just wanted to share with you that we have these pictures and we have them in our office and we have the reminders. And you are our motivation. Who are we? This is the Dynacure team. So Stefan is in the room, over there. And Belinda, you've heard just now as well. The three of us are here. The other two, Fred and Lynn, unable to make it this weekend, but we are, as you can see, a small team. I was going to say compact, but I don't think that's a nice thing to say about people. So a small team is good enough. We also have in the background, of course, investors who believe in us, believe in what we are doing, and support us financially. So we are also very grateful to them. I didn't want to put them on the slide. I don't think there's need to mention who it is exactly, but of course we have their support too. So what is it that is a bit special for us about Dynacure? What is it that we see distinguishes us and maybe puts us in a slightly different position to other companies? The top line is pretty standard fare. That is what most companies want to do. They want to develop what we call a pipeline of medicines. It just means a catalog of products that you work on in order to bring benefit to the patients. And we, on that road, comply with regulations and are guided by what the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA in the US, allow us to do, what they enable us to do, and in Europe that's called the European Medicines Agency, the EMA. So we have to go through these agencies, Behörden in German, to get the medicines registered so that we can bring these treatments to patients. So that's a path that pharmaceutical companies in general follow. Why are we lucky? Why are we fortunate and in a different position? We have really good relationships with the IGBMC, the university in France, and a company called Ionis, who are, I think it's fair to say, the world leaders in the development of antisense oligonucleotides. So we have access to their information, we get their support, which is really, really important to us and helps us understand and preempt some of the issues that we might face in the development. So we are fortunate in that sense. I'll move us along. So what is it really that we want to do? Really important. We want to, now this is a bit of pharmaceutical speak. We want to obtain a broad label. What does that mean? We want to develop medicines in such a way that they can be prescribed out there to patients, both in the X-linked CNM, Johan set that up nicely, I say again, centronuclear myopathy, so this is what was the myotubular myopathy, and the autosomal dominant CNM as well. So we're looking at both the MTM and the DNM2. So for both of these patient groups, we want to move quickly to the market to make a treatment. If we have a successful treatment in our pipeline, which is what we believe, of course, then we want to bring that out to the patient, to you as patients, in the shortest time. At the same time, we have to look at safety. And this is where the two things come into play. One is for us as a company and for me as the medical officer responsible for this, I have to make sure that what we do is safe. As safe as we can make it. No medicine, if anybody tells you medicine is safe, they're lying. There is no such thing as a safe medicine. It's all dose dependent. So what we have to do is we have to find the right dose that gives the right benefit with an acceptable risk. That's what we are playing here. That's what we're doing. And FDA and EMA are supporting and also controlling us in that. They control the rate at which we do things, and they also support us because they see the need. We've spoken to regulators, and they, of course, can see the need for medicine in this area. It's clear. They see the need, but we have to do it at a certain pace. So that's our objective, and now the question is, how do we do that? Oh, stick to this, I think. How do we do it? We start off with a natural history study that I'm thinking most of you, if not all of you, are aware of. It's really important, and there's a lot of detail there. Most people will know Dr. Laurent Servet and know where the study is taking place. Why is it important to us? We really need to understand the baseline data very well. What does this disease look like in its natural course? So that if we see any changes during the course of our clinical work, which I will come to very soon, if we see any changes there, we know that we can attribute those changes to the medicine and not to the natural course of the disease. So getting this baseline data is really important to us, and that is the first step in our clinical development, really. The natural history study is the starting point. We want to have patients enrolling in this study for whom we already have data here. That would be ideal. We are currently looking at how we do that, whether we have sufficient number of patients for our study in the natural history study. We may find a way around it, that we can do a run-in and collect data prior to our study starting, even for patients who are not registered in the natural history study. But optimal for us is to take the patients who are currently in that study. Then we want to run this study, which we as a team are currently working on the protocol and the details for, but please note, the patients are 16 and older, both mutations, MTM1 and Dynamin-2. And our emphasis in this study is safety and tolerability, and then PK is pharmacokinetics, is to see how the drug behaves in the system. So there will be a fair bit of sampling in the study, including muscle biopsies, and I know that is not a pleasant thought for patients, carers, but it is really important, given that we have the really new mode of action. This has not been done before. Dynamin-2 has not been lowered in patients before. This is the first time we're doing it. And it's really important that we show evidence that the medicine that we are giving has the capacity to lower Dynamin-2 in the muscle fiber. That's really important to us, and that's also important to the regulators. So there will be a fair bit of blood sampling, there will be the muscle biopsies and lots of assessments. Primarily they are around safety, to make sure that the drug is well tolerated, but we also want to look and see, of course, if we could see any changes in the muscle function. So there will be a lot of assessments in this phase 1-2 study, right there. Does that mean time's up? No, that's all right. Okay, no worries, no worries. So then the next step after that is to run 2 further. These are called phase 2-3s, just because they are later in development studies. Here this study symbolizes the patient group between 2 years old and 16. Here, so we're going to the younger patients, and then we have a separate study for children under 2 years of age. This has to do with regulations, how drugs are developed, and so on. That we have this pattern, if you like. I would like to preempt a question, which is why are you not starting with younger children? It doesn't seem right. It's not logical, and so on. The disease that we're addressing and the mutations that we're addressing occur in older patients. We know that. We have some in the room. So the justification in the eye of our authorities, to start with very young children without trying first in older patients is not given. So we have to first establish the dose, a safe dose, and the safety of the application of the drug in older children, or older adults if we can, before we can take the risk, if you like, of applying the drug to the younger children. This is not up for debate or discussion. So this path is given to us. If we look at other companies that are treating the diseases that occur really only in much younger children, they, of course, they have no choice. They have to go to treat younger children from the get-go. For us, it's different. We hope to treat older patients as well as the young patients with our compound, and that's why we have chosen, or that's why we have to take this route. Another reminder, again, can't do enough of this, because this is why we're here, this is why we work, this is why we put together funny development plans, complicated discussions with regulators, because we're here for you, fundamentally. And these are the 4 groups that we work with at DynaCure. And I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. I'm happy to take any other questions you might have. A big thank you again, really, to Anne, Holger, everyone. It's been really, really good few days here with you. So I think I'll finish on that note, but please let me know if you have any other questions.